let's take a few minutes and take a look at Photoshop CS6's mini bridge. Now, of course, I pointed out earlier that we have the mini bridge tab, the mini bridge panel, way down in the bottom left-hand corner of the Photoshop interface. However, if you lose that tab, if you can't find them on screen, here's another way to open up the mini bridge panel. I'm going to head all the way up to the window menu, and then just down to extensions, and then there's Mini Bridge right there, just in case you lose him on screen. Now, if you're not sure what Mini Bridge is, by the way, he's a mini file browser. He's a mini version of the much larger and much more sophisticated Adobe Bridge application, which allows you to sort through your images, you can filter them, you can apply star ratings to them, and create collections and all kinds of crazy stuff. Now, I'm not going to get into all that nitty-gritty stuff related to Adobe Bridge. I'm just going to give you the down and dirty here related to Mini Bridge inside Photoshop. So as soon as we open up the Mini Bridge panel, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to launch Bridge. It says here, Bridge must be running to browse files. Well, fine. I'm going to go ahead and click on Launch Bridge. Now, you might have to wait a moment here for Bridge CS6 to launch. But once it does launch, you'll see here that the Mini Bridge panel does come to life. So as a matter of fact, the much larger full Adobe Bridge application has now launched on my computer. As far as Mini Bridge is concerned, what happens here is we basically get two window panes happening here. We have the browser side, if you will, the file browser side of the interface, and then the main preview area here that occupies obviously the larger portion of the panel. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and navigate to our work files folder. So mine happened to be on my desktop. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on desktop here. Now, by the way, what you can do is you can use your computer drop down menu here if you want to navigate to a different location on your computer, or perhaps into your favorites, as I mentioned, or perhaps into collections, as I had mentioned a moment ago as well. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on desktop, and there's my work files folder on my desktop. Notice the main area of the Mini Bridge panel is saying, I don't have anything to display right now. That's because we have to go right into our work files folder. So go ahead and double click on that guy. And what should happen is all of your work files, all of our sample files that we have here now load into the Mini Bridge interface. And as a matter of fact, I can drag on this horizontal divider, the top of the Mini Bridge panel. I can make him larger or smaller, and depending on the size that I wind up setting this guy to, that determines the size of the thumbnails, the previews for all of our files inside Mini Bridge. So, for instance, there's Barn 1 Detail, there's Barn 1, and now I can use this horizontal scroller to begin navigating through all of the different images that we have available to us inside the selected folder. A few final notes here for you related to working with Mini Bridge. First of all, we have the very handy breadcrumb bar running right across the top of the interface, so I know exactly where I am, which folder I'm inside my file structure. I can navigate around. I can always go backwards or forwards if I want to, using the backwards and forwards arrows there. There's some additional options as well. I can go and open this up inside the much larger full Adobe Bridge application. I can start to customize my view if I want, in terms of setting up how things are behaving here inside Mini Bridge. That's fine. I'll leave that up to you to explore. I can sort as well by file name or by file type, and so on and so on. The default is sorting things by file name. And one other thing that we can do here inside Mini Bridge all the way over towards the right is we have this little funnel icon here. I can actually filter the Mini Bridge view. So right now there's no filter turned on. What I could do is I could apply star ratings, as I had mentioned earlier. So I could say, all right, only show me images that have 3 stars, or only show me images that have at least 3 stars or more, right? This kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool. Now, the last thing that I want to show you here related to working with Mini Bridge is how do we actually get a file open inside Photoshop that we want to work with? Well, that's actually really easy. All I'm going to do is simply double click on the image icon, the image thumbnail, inside Mini Bridge, and that's going to open up the file inside Photoshop. And of course, I can begin working on this file inside Photoshop. So what you may want to do is you may want to collapse the Mini Bridge panel all the way down towards the bottom of your interface. So now we have sort of this tiny film strip view. Or what I could do is, as I'm working along, simply double click on the Mini Bridge tab to collapse him all the way down, start working on my image, and then when I'm ready, go ahead and double click on that Mini Bridge tab again and go and find the next file that I want to start working on inside Photoshop. Really, really easy to work with.